Thank you very much for joining us. Our sign language interpreter is Marisha Owiti. Now, opposition leader Raila Odinga wants the government to launch a thorough and speedy investigation into the killing of controversial businessman Jacob Juma. Raila claims Juma's murder appears to have been a planned execution and says police must make sure that the culprits are brought to book.
CORD leader Raila Odinga visited the Rii funeral home to view the body of controversial businessman Jacob Juma, who was also his supporter and friend. Raila says he last spoke to Juma Thursday afternoon, where Juma requested for a meeting. However, Juma was shot dead by unknown people while driving past Lenana School Thursday night, shortly after 9:30 p.m. His car had 10 bullet holes. The incident happened along Gong Road near the Southern Bypass and past Lenana School.
From every evidence that we see, this is an extrajudicial killing.
At Parliament, Senate Minority Leader and CORD Co-Principal Moses Wetangula led other leaders from Western Kenya region in condemning the killing. The late Juma hails from Bumbula constituency, Bungoma County. The controversial businessman was known for quoting controversies on various issues on his Twitter handle when commenting on topical issues of the day.
He has been having a running battle with some very senior people in government, including his indications that his life was in danger, and he did not fear or shy away from naming names. We want, as we call for investigations, we want the government to come clean on this, to tell the people of Kenya in general and the people of the Mulembe Nation in particular who murdered or assassinated Jacob Juma.
Jacob Juma has made very serious tweets on his wall, which we want to urge the CID to look at critically. And we want to urge further that anybody mentioned by Juma on his wall, the police should take an active and bold move to go and interview that person, just in case.
We are calling upon the government to move with speed and form a commission of inquiry so that we get to the bottom of actually what happened to Jacob Juma.
Nairobi police boss Japheth Koome said the businessman was driving from his bar in Westlands at around 9:30 p.m. to his current home when he was shot by gunmen who escaped on a motorbike.
He had a lot of information about the Eurobond, how that money was moved, how it was stolen, who was responsible. And we think that he is a victim of the Eurobond.
And if there is a hit squad that is within or without government, we want the Interior Minister to come clean on this. We only saw the other day in Kakamega when civilians tossed tear gas canisters at a political gathering. How did civilians get tear gas?
Family members said the deceased had complained to them that his life was in danger. The late Jacob Juma was the director and proprietor of Kotek Mining Kenya Limited. Patrick Amimo, KTN News.
Now, the Kenyan government has announced that it will close down all the refugee camps in the country in the interest of national security. Interior Principal Secretary Dr. Karanja Kibisho said a decision had been reached to disband the Department of Refugee Affairs and begin the process of sending 600,000 refugees in Kenya back home. KTN's Akisa Wandera has the details.
Refugees will no longer get an open arms welcome in Kenya as the government begins working on a mechanism for the closure of the Dadaab and Kakuma refugee camps in the shortest time possible. This follows the disbandment of the Department of Refugee Affairs in the country, a move that will now see about 600,000 refugees pack up and leave after 25 years of being hosted in the country. The decision has been pegged on the slow-paced repatriation exercise which came into place after Kenya, Somalia and the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, signed a tripartite agreement for the repatriation of refugees to Somalia in 2013. According to the Interior Principal Secretary Karanja Kibisho, the international community lacks commitment in the repatriation program.
The consequence of no movement and lack of interest by the international community in this repatriation program means a lot of burden to the Kenyan government in terms of support of the refugees.
The Interior PS also says the government has been in a dilemma over playing home to the world's largest refugee camps and at the same time ensuring security for its citizenry.
Of course, with the accompanying challenge in security, you know this country has continued to face a lot of threats, mainly from Al-Shabaab and terror groups. And all the time when try to trace back, we have very strong cells in this country that have their roots in the refugee camps.
In 2015, in the wake of attacks from the Al-Shabaab militant group in parts of the country, Interior Cabinet Secretary Joseph Nkaiseri ordered the closure of the Dadaab camp, terming it as a hiding place for terrorists and their agents. However, after intense pressure from the international community, Kenya backtracked on plans to close down the refugee camp. The government has asked the international community to support the move that is likely to attract condemnation. Kenya hosts hundreds of thousands of refugees from Somalia at the Dadaab camp and others from South Sudan at the Kakuma camp. Akisa Wandera, KTN News.
Right, so the developments there lead us to our big question tonight, and we'd like to interact with you. And the big question is, do you support the closure of all refugee camps in Kenya? Do you support the closure of all refugee camps in Kenya? Do tweet me at Betty M. Kialo, or you can also use the hashtag Friday Briefing, and we will be taking a look at the responses during Friday Briefing today. Not almost exactly a time like now, 1 week ago, the Huruma tragedy took place as a 7-story building collapsed, trapping residents inside, and the death toll is now above 40. 7 days later, the Nairobi County government has begun the demolition of houses that had been marked as unfit for human habitation. KTN's Timothy Otieno, who has been following developments there, has the details.
1 week after a building in Huruma Estate collapsed, the operation to rescue lives still continues, even though most of the time, rescuers have to pull out dead bodies in an operation that has lasted nearly 200 hours. Members of the National Disaster Management Unit and the National Youth Service continue unrelentlessly to save as many lives as possible.
The progression of work is going on very well, and I'm happy to tell you that we have actually achieved almost towards, we are focusing almost now to 80%.
We expect by tomorrow, at least we should have cleared this disaster scene.
But the disaster would open up a can of worms surrounding building construction within the capital that would see the Nairobi County government earmark more than 8 apartment buildings in the area for demolition. And when the bulldozer began its work, turning verbal and written notices into real-life manifestation, the residents here began a frenzy to salvage the most they could, given the limited time issued. In the thick of things is a middle-aged man who stands nearly isolated from the rest and has known no home for the last 7 years other than this now congested street in Huruma Estate. The roar of the bulldozer means he has to move immediately, never mind the fact that he does not know where to go. His disappointment in the whole exercise evident.
Serikali ya kaunti ya Nairobi imelala kidogo sababu wao ndio wameidhinisha hizi mijengo zote. Mimi nakumbuka vizuri nikihamia hapa kulikuwa na mijengo kidogo sana mpaka kufikia hapa ndio kulikuwa na mjengo. Huko chini kabisa kulikuwa na takataka, kisha baadaye ikabebwa na tukaambiwa na mbunge aliyekuweko Margaret Wanjiru ya kwamba hapa patakuwa makazi ya watoto wetu kuchezea. Hatukujua ya kwamba zingenyakuliwa baadaye zianze kujengwa tena.
The exercise that began in earnest after a 48-hour notice lapsed Friday morning will see more than 200 families left out in the cold, with the county government insisting that it's an exercise that must be conducted if more lives are to be saved from further tragedy in future.
And this will be an exercise that will carry out through the county really. Slightly over 200 buildings had been identified through that audit exercise to be brought down.
But many here, most of whom preferred the area due to its low rates of rent, remain bitter that the exercise is solving no immediate problem other than rendering families homeless.
Tujui tunaenda wapi na hii maisha ya hapa Kenya ya kuhustle. Nimehustle, nimepata rent, nimelipa jana. Sasa kitambo nipate hiyo ingine ya kuhama itakuwa lini? Na niko na watoto na wanasoma.
Mimi nimetoka kazini sikuambiwa hii action ya kubomoa leo. Nitakaa tu hapa kwa mvua.
The Huruma building disaster triggering the enforcement of a year-old report by the Nairobi City County that recommended the downing of hundreds of buildings within the city, even as more questions surrounding the construction and certification process of housing units continue to be raised. So with the death toll increasing in the Huruma tragedy, the Nairobi County government is already taking stern and swift action against buildings within the vicinity that it believes remain unsafe for living, in an exercise that it says will go on well into the weekend. Timothy Otieno, KTN News.
The brutal beating and mishandling of CORD supporters by the GSU officers in Huruma Estate in Nairobi earlier this week has raised many questions. The Independent Medical Legal Unit points now and says that the slow pace of police reforms and the laxity by the Independent Policing Oversight Authority are only serving to encourage police officers to continue violating people's rights. Lofty Matambo reports.
The video exclusively captured by KTN showing GSU officers mercilessly beating up CORD supporters in Huruma Estate in Nairobi 3 days ago is just one of the many cases of police brutality and the excessive use of force that go unnoticed or maybe unreported.
Kati ya mwaka 2013 na saa hizi 2013 tumekuwa na visa karibu 537 ambazo zimeripotiwa katika ofisi.
Independent Medical Legal Unit IMLU points out laxity on implementation of the constitution, which makes it difficult for the bodies like IPOA to bring the perpetrators to book.
National Police Service Act, it says very well that all the work of the police will be guided by the constitution.
A similar video surfaced in March showing both male and female Nairobi University students tortured by GSU officers, and the incident caused an uproar among Kenyans. The confrontation between security officers and CORD principals, together with their supporters at IEBC offices. The inhuman handling and extrajudicial killings witnessed during the post-election violence of 2007-2008, shooting and killing of 14-year-old Kwekwe Mwandaza in Kwale in 2014, perhaps make the hearts of many Kenyans bleed while crying for justice.
Haiwezi kuwa an excuse ya kuitoa maisha ya wananchi kwa sababu sisi tunaipigia reform kwa ujumla.
A 2008 report by United Nations on Human Rights indicated the following after post-election violence: that the government reported killings of 123 people by the police, At the time this report was released, only one police officer was being investigated. The government ignores reports by human rights organizations on police brutality, leading to the public lacking confidence on security officers as legal actions are not taken against the perpetrators.
Kutokuwa na accountability, yani ile ambayo inawafanya polisi wajue kwamba kila kitendo mnafanya kivyako, mtu binafsi, lazima utakuwa accountable. Ndio sana inachangia.
Many Kenyans are yet to feel the effects and existence of the Independent Policing Oversight Authority (IPOA), leaving many begging for their rights and protections from the same officers who are often involved in brutalizing citizens. Lofty Matambo, KTN News, Nairobi.
To another big story, this time from the corridors of justice. Now intrigues have intensified around the attempts to remove the Director of Public Prosecutions, Kibaki. As KTN's political affairs reporter Duncan Haimba reports, a third affidavit has been filed at the courts as different sides try to outdo each other in proving their case for or against the DPP. Take a look.
For the last 5 years, the soft-spoken Director of Public Prosecutions, Kibaki, has largely conducted his job away from the limelight, following the acrimony that characterized his appointment in 2011. But now Kibaki has found himself right in the eye of a storm, thanks to this man, High Court Advocate Nelson Havi, who wants the DPP removed from office. Early afternoon, and Harvey walked into the Public Service Commission offices in Nairobi to file his second affidavit against Kibaki. In the first one filed on 5th of April, Harvey accuses Kibaki of allegedly interfering with investigations into the Malili Ranch Limited cases in favor of his advocate Eric Mutua by appointing his other advocate Paul Mwite to represent the state and bungle up investigations and prosecution. The lawyer accuses Kibaki of breaching several laws, including Article 73 of the Constitution on leadership and integrity and 157, which contains the job description of the DPP. Harvey further wants Kibaki to quit over what he calls unconstitutional and unlawful decisions to favor some clients he represented before becoming the DPP, notably 5 MPs from Narok County, Stephen Ole Ntutu, Moitalel Ole Kenta, Patrick Ntutu, Johanna Ngeno, and Corey Lemaine. But Harvey's affidavit has been challenged by activists Okio Mtata and Nyakina Gisebe, who argue that the petition was filed in bad faith to frustrate the public. According to Mtata, in September 2015, the National Police Service Commission recommended that the advocate Nelson Harvey, among other suspects, be prosecuted for fraud-related offenses.
It's a general principle of justice that those who seek equity should come with clean hands. In this particular matter, the people who are pursuing the removal of the DPP are people whom the DPP is pursuing over specific allegations of criminality.
I'm an interested party. I've suffered under the hands of these two people, but that of itself does not preclude me from making an objective complaint.
In his replying affidavit to the Public Service Commission, Senior Counsel Paul Mwite states that the allegation by Harvey that Eric Mutua was part of the DPP's defense team is a deliberate falsehood. Mwite further says he is not aware of any Cold War between the DPP and Ndegwa Muhoro of the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, and goes ahead to ask whether Nelson Harvey is acting in the matter as a proxy for Ndegwa Muhoro. In the latest affidavit, Harvey is linking the DPP to the Golden Bag scandal and Anglo leasing, in which he claims Kibaki was and continues to play a leading role in scuttling the process, working in cahoots with the senior counsels Paul Mwite and Abdullahi Ahmed Nasir.
Kibaki gave an undertaking that he will never appear in any matters concerning Anglo leasing. But in a strange turn of events, Kibaki has been appearing in all matters that relate to Anglo leasing.
The Public Service Commission chairperson, Professor Margaret Kobia, has confirmed to KTN News that a decision has been made with regard to the earlier petition and that any moment, Keriako Tobiko will be communicated to on way forward. Last June, a section of opposition MPs alleged a plot to remove Tobiko from office.
Jubilee is planning to bring in a petition to remove Keriako Tobiko. The reason is the man has shown himself to be independent. The man has shown himself that he's not going to be pushed about.
According to Article 158 of the Constitution, the DPP can only be removed upon a recommendation by the Public Service Commission to the President, who upon receiving the petition shall suspend the DPP within 14 days, then form a 7-member tribunal to investigate him. Director of Public Prosecutions Keriako Tobiko had until this Friday to submit his replying affidavit. However, a move by Advocate Nelson Harvey to file a further affidavit could simply mean going back to the drawing board, both for the Public Service Commission and the DPP in as far as the petition against him is concerned. Duncan Haemba, KTN News, Nairobi.
Now, everything is set for the burial of the late former Kenyan First Lady Lucy Muthoni Kibaki in Othaya constituency in Nyeri County. The funeral service will be held at the Othaya approved school, where, according to the Nyeri County Commissioner Onesimus Musyoki, about 20,000 mourners are expected. Interior Principal Secretary Dr. Karanja Kibisho says the service is expected to last for about 2 hours, after which the burial will take place at her Kanyange home. Members of the public will only be allowed to attend the funeral service at the Othaya approved school, but the burial will be a private affair at the Kibaki's family home in Kanyange. Right, so we want to take a short breather here on Friday Briefing, but before then, let's have a review of our big question tonight. And we, of course, are asking you, do you support the closure of all refugee camps in Kenya? Do you support the closure of all refugee camps in Kenya? Remember, we're waiting for your responses. 55, but you can also use hashtag Friday Briefing to bring in your responses. Let me sample one or two messages here. Hassan Suna says, I totally disagree with the majority, not because I am Somali, but from a humanistic perspective, it's inhuman. Now, Calvin Official says, refugee camps being closed down is good and bad at the same time in relation to security and humanity, respectively. Now, Eric Barmao says, oh yes, we should believe there's serious problems when the government starts acting like it's doing. Thank you very much for your responses. Keep them coming. We take that short breather here on Friday Briefing, but when we come back, I'm telling you, DJ Sadiq, Kelele Takatifu and Evelyn Wanjiru are going to be bringing the house down. They are nominees for the Groove Awards, and I will be talking to them shortly. Do text me or tweet me your questions. See you in a short while. That is really cool. Okay, that and yeah. No wonder you're a nominee. I can see it.
Unajua ni vile wao ingesema tu winner. Ingekuwa fair.
Calm down. Calm down.
Okay,
welcome back to Friday Briefing. DJ Sadiq, your KTN DJ. That actually should just be your title, DJ wa KTN.
DJ wa KTN.
Yeah.
Mimi naitwa Sadiq, DJ wa KTN. Kwa hapa na uanka wa KTN, naitwa Betty.
Right.
Yeah.
Na guest wetu wa KTN.
Guest yetu nguvu.
Evelyn Wanjiru there, you know her. Salimiana Evelyn. Say something.
Hi. What's up, people?
That. Ebu just sing itakuwa ngori the way you usually sing.
Itakuwa ngori. Bila Yesu itakuwa ngori. Itakuwa ngori. Yes. mwisho wa story.
Ngori imetoa
Okay.
imetoa melody.
You guys should learn from her.
Justice.
I know. Okay. Calm down. Kelele Takatifu is also in the building. Thank you so much for coming, guys. So first things first, itakuwa ngori.
Yes.
How?
How?
Just explain to the people who are watching na jingori ni nini.
Ngori
First
ni
of
nini?
all, itakuwa ngori bila
Mababi
Yesu.
kama beti ya washikanishi hiyo story.
Ngori means kitu ya kwanza ring baba bang bang bang. Ariba bang bang bang. Kelele takatifu aya deng deng deng. Beti yalo. I'll see. It's kelele takatifu. Ngori means trouble ama shida.
Yes.
Ni lugha ya mtaani, wasi wangu nguaroa wapi wanajua. So when you say bila Yesu itakuwa ngori, you mean bila Yesu itakuwa shida, itakuwa tabu,
itakuwa noma.
Itakuwa noma.
Blanda.
So basically that's what the song means.
But what was the inspiration about the song? Is it mlipitia something, then you said ilikuwa ngori bila Yesu?
Ilikuwa ngori labda.
I think it's what we are used to seeing kwa mtaa. Unajua we've seen people wenye wamesoma, wenye wamefanya nini.
Yeah.
Lakini at the end of the day kuna some things in their lives in a fail because they don't have Christ.
They don't have Christ.
Simple.
Okay. Yeah. So the reception from, of course, wase wa mtaa wali like song. What about the kina Sadiq Mababi kama kina Sadiq? Were they able to understand and appreciate the song?
Sadiq alishahama mtaani.
Wewe Sadiq ulisalitiwa sewa mtaani.
Mtaani hata nimetumwa na wasi wa Kayole nikushow usipite huko.
Kumbe ni mswa Kayole. Okay, sawa.
But the reception was good. Actually, everybody apart from being that the language is of the hood na ni mtaa na ni slang.
Yes.
I think the musicality is good and the beat is good. Big up to Saint P, the producer. So actually kila msee ameipenda. Even people in the diaspora, like we have people in the United States and Australia downloading our song on iTunes and all this. So everybody likes it.
But do you say he just had to throw in iTunes?
You can actually get the album there, by the way.
Okay, album. And you guys have been nominated for so many things.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Album
of the year.
Album of the year, Afropop song of the year, group of the year, and song of the year.
Wow, okay, sawa. Wachini some scare ya Evelyn Wanjiru.
Yes.
Worship song of the year. Evelyn, you have an amazing voice. First of all, at what point did you decide, you know what, now I want to go out there and sing my heart out?
When I was 19. That's when I decided to...
Okay, you look 19 now.
Yeah. Actually, today is my birthday.
Okay,
guys.
happy birthday.
Happy 20th.
Something, happy birthday.
Song ya birthday.
So I decided to sing officially at the age of 19. But I started singing when I was 9 years old. Yeah.
Sing for us one of your favorite songs. Nakufahamu ama ni
ngori.
Hapana tena ngori. Maneno ngori tumemaliza.
Amazing. I love this song because it's what that made Evelyn to be what she is right now.
Okay.
Waweza Mwokozi, waweza mambo yote, wewe mwaminifu.
Okay. And what does this nomination mean to you? You've been nominated for Worship Song of the Year and Collabo of the Year?
Collabo of the Year.
Yes.
And Female Artist of the Year.
Okay, so Meshindra, so relax, you know.
Relax.
How does it feel being nominated for those categories?
It's a great honor. I feel very much privileged. Last year I won actually Album of the Year. It was amazing. It was, for me, I didn't take it for granted because I know God wanted people to listen to my music and to be blessed and to just partake their portion, hope. Most of the songs that I do are songs that are giving guys hope for tomorrow.
Which is important in this day and age when everything seems to be going south.
I agree.
Yeah.
So I'm just honored. I feel so much grateful and I'm grateful to God for this opportunity and for the nomination. There's so many musicians who are singing out there, but for me, I hata nyinyi wase mnajua tumetoka mbali.
Umetoka mbali. Kwani mnajuana?
Tumetoka mbali. We stayed at her mother's house for like 2 weeks in
really?
Yeah.
A whole month.
We were doing missions.
Okay,
for
missions.
a whole month. So she's like our sister.
So you guys are like family.
Yeah, we're like family.
Coming back to this guy, I'm sure he's not part of your family. DJ Sadiq. So is it that kwani ulipatia watu wa groove nini? Kila saa tu uko nominee DJ of the year. Is it that we don't have enough?
Hebu leo tuambie.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
What do you mean?
I don't know what to say.
Of course you know.
Who do you want to thank?
What is it that you do right? What is it that you're doing right?
Wacha niseme, first of all, DJing is my ministry tool. Mini pasi ana minister na Dex. So kukuwa nominated for these awards, for me it's a great honor. Inamaanisha watu wana appreciate ile kazi tunafanya. So for me, apart from the nomination, huduma inaendelea.
Do you believe that you've inspired people with this tool of work? You've changed people's lives? Do you feel like you've reached out to the, through your target audience as a DJ, as a young DJ?
Unajua mi target audience yangu ni vijana, ni young guys, because
vijana wadogo kushinda sababu najua yeye kidogo tu mzee. Kidogo tu.
Hapo umeniambia ukweli. Umeniambia ukweli, lakini na target market yangu ni the youth, because pia ile background nimegrow zile vitu nimeona. So from the feedback I get, even on the Tukuza show every Sunday, tukipatana na mafans kwa gigs, guys wanasema niko inspired kukuwa better person, niko inspired maybe kuingia into gospel DJing na kuacha zile vitu mbaya na do. So hiyo feedback inani keep going na inanionyesha that niko in the right direction.
Okay, so there's some artists, this is going to be a bit controversial, but there are artists who have been allegedly kicked out of Groove Awards because of their lifestyle. What do you think about that?
First of all, kuna watu wali misquote what a member of the panel alisema. Alisema tu, he was saying this is the criteria we use kunominate. Hakusema tonight wale watu watakuwa kwa nomination
the lead and godly lifestyles.
So,
but let me take you up on that. But kuna songs zingine squeezy unasikia they're coming from gospel artists, Evelyn, but kidogo has the sound gospel.
Ndio nasema if you know why you are called, outa try naweza semaje, unajua saa zingine tunafanya muziki ndio iweze kukata cross, maybe iweze kwenda kwa the secular market, isi sound so churchy, unaget. So me I believe as a gospel artist tumekuwa called to minister. So kama ngoma yako mtu akisikiza hivi haizi pata inspiration ya kukuwa better person, as in anapata iko na the same effect ya kisikiza secular song, I think hakuna difference. So I think the biggest challenge kwa gospel artist ni turudishe content kwa gospel music.
Evelyn, do you think there's content in the gospel industry? Because like Sadiq said, there are people who want to really get out and have that first hit or second or third, and it means including some things which are not considered as Christian, so that they can have the radio play songs over and over and again.
I think there is content. When someone else does something that we have been called individually.
Yes.
Everyone has been called. Ngori, the Kelele Takatifu they do their own genre of music. I do my own genre of music, and I think it depends with someone. When they do something that is not right, because all of us are doing gospel music, it doesn't mean that everyone is doing the same thing,
right?
So we are now categorized as gospel musicians. They're not doing content music, something that does not have content.
There should not be a blanket condemnation.
It shouldn't be. I've been talking to guys, and this week I was talking about 5Gs. Everywhere I go, I have decided to be talking about it, because I know that is what that has made us to be what we are today. It has also made me to be what I am. First of all, we've been given gifts. The first G is gift. Each and every one of us has a gift. You have a gift of being in the to be a news anchor. I can't do what you do. I can't do what Sadiq does. I can't rap. I used to rap, yes, but
you used to rap, okay.
But now I do a different genre of music right now. And the second G is group. If you put yourself in a group of people that are not impacting your life in a positive way, then definitely you're going to go off. Right. The third G is growth. You have to grow. And when you're in a best group, if you involve yourself with the right people, you have to grow. And the fourth G is grounding. If you're not grounded in the word, if you're not grounded in the best church, if you don't have someone that speak positive things upon your life, a spiritual dad in your life, then probably every time you write some music, they won't make sense.
They won't make sense. Okay.
And the fifth one, the last one, is glory. Glory is when you become a celebrity. Glory is when people are celebrating you. Will you still embrace other people when you walikuwa pale chini? Will you still hold them and work with them? Hata tukiingia hapa, will you say hi to everyone or utasema mimi ni celeb, you don't know who I am, you know?
Okay, come on, Sadiq. Okay, so okay, I want us to go back to a bit of music before we read the news. But I want to ask you, you know, how do you make sure that you do not lose the message, especially when trying to get the youth to receive it?
She says something about being grounded, and that's a very important thing. Like us, we have a pastor and we have a church that we go to, and we have accountability groups. Accountability groups is what she talked about. The friends that you surround yourself with. You know, if I stay with your friends for like 5 minutes, I'll know the person you are very easily. So you have to surround yourself with people that ground you, and also what you take in is what you give out.
Okay.
So we watch what we consume when we are alone, what we listen to, because eventually that's what we write in our music. That's what we'll come here and talk about.
Yes.
So basically that's a few things that we do.
Got it.
To keep ourselves. Yes.
Hey, so almost I can see this content.
Betsy, can we tell the guys to vote for us, man?
Sure, please.
Yes.
Please.
To vote for Kelele Takatifu as your group of the year, you can send Groove 3C to 811. To vote for Ngori as a song of the year, you can send 5C to 811. To vote for Ngori as the Afropop song of the year, you can send 10C to 811. To vote for
Ndoto za Kupaa,
our debut album as the album of the year, you can send 9C to 9B or 9B. And one more thing, Narok people, Groove Tour is coming. Groove Tour is coming to Narok on Sunday. So if you're in Narok or anywhere near Narok, come there, we're going to be there. DJ Sadiq, you're going to be there. You're going to be there.
Always every.
And Kelele Takatifu, we're going to be there. It's going to be heavy. So guys, watch out. Yeah.
Okay, fine. And Evelyn, people want to vote for you.
To vote for Evelyn Wanjiru as Female Artist of the Year, SMS Groove 2B to 811. Evelyn Wanjiru as Worship Song of the Year, SMS Groove 6D to 811. Evelyn Wanjiru as to Collabo of the Year to Leah, you SMS Groove to 11E to send to 811.
Hey, you're my superstar. Okay, fine. So we want to read the news now, and shortly I will be speaking to a representative from Groove Awards to just clear the air about this whole issue about people, being kicked out. I mean, can you be really kicked out of? I don't know. Maybe he's gonna shed more light on that. But for now, just 30 seconds of a nice mix. 30 seconds, Sadiq.
Akiwa ameconcentrate hapo.
Okay. 30 seconds, I'll play one song.
30 seconds.
Kwanza ukifika nyumbani umsalimie baba na mama yangu, mimi nipo salama na Mungu kwa maisha ndo rafiki yangu. Kale ka biashara kama yangu, baiskeli yangu iliibiwa, tunapona situmi visenti, endelea kunia. Safari ni safari, nina Yesu, ninaamini nitashinda, hata kama sina gari haina issue, ninajika nitafika. Safari ni safari, nina Yesu, ninaamini nitashinda, hata kama sina gari haina issue, hata nifikisha salama. Hasta kuna Selina anti, mama hajiombe, mama masho seduki bonge, usikoma nimenyamaza sana ukumjini bado ninang'ang'ana ilo naomba. Weniombe, 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 weniombe.
That was good.
Tuko hewani bado.
Sawa.
mayatima umesomesha sana, wenye shida umesaidia wote, wenye njaa umewapa chakula, nguo zako umepeana zote, hakuna anayetambua haya ambayo umetenda kwote. Sasa naona inakupa wali na kuomba usijali, iye kuita naona yote.
Okay, yenyewe
una siku zote.
Manenda zako wewe
Evelyn, I'm coming for you. Mmekuwa mkipractice?
Yeah.
Have you been practicing?
We are ready.
Good. Okay, fine. So this is what you do.
Okay.
You start by introducing yourself. Okay, Sadiq. Thank you. Silence in studio.
Niko wapi kopo la maji ile mnakunywaga? Kopo la maji.
Kopo la maji tunadanga after when the time when you go on a break.
Na niko wapi? Iko chini ya meza?
Iko chini ya meza, usituuze lakini sawa.
Bali hakuna kopo la maji hapa wase, inakuwa story. It's been a lie, man, all my life.
Kopo la saa.
Oh my life.
Kopo la maji.
Sawa.
Kopo langu la saa. Okay, sawa. Tafadhali. Introduce yourselves and then take it away. You can see properly?
Yeah, I can see
Good.
properly.
Take it away.
Welcome to 9 o'clock news. This is Moji Shot Baba, aka and who?
And Didi wa Kelele Takatifu.
You're very welcome. Now, my friend, you have a good week?
I've had a very fabulous week.
Okay.
How about you, brother?
I've been good.
Awesome.
By the way, wanakuwaga wa stiff kidogo. So lazima kuwe stiff. Okay, sawa. We go? Are we ready? A Nigerian blogger and medical scientists have designed hijabs for dolls that reflect the religion and culture of Muslim women in Nigeria, inspired by the success of other variations in Barbie's style. She hopes to use her social enterprise business idea to boost the self-esteem and identity of young Muslim girls.
Millions of girls around Africa have known the Barbie doll as the little play doll with blonde and straight hair, dressed in urban plain-colored funky clothes far away from the African way of life. That phenomenon is now changing, with social entrepreneurs designing African dolls and changing the narrative. In Nigeria, 24-year-old designer Hanifa Adam is championing this through her designs of a hijabi-veiled African doll that makes a fashion statement to change the way young Muslim girls see themselves.
I decided to put the hijab on the doll because I've never really seen one like it before until recently.
Hijabi, the modestly dressed doll styled by Hanifa out of her bedroom in Kwara State, Western Nigeria, wears hijabs and abayas in prints, bold colors and different fabrics.
An impressionable young girl that can identify with an hijab wearing doll and will be able to identify with her roots. She has like a sense of identity with the doll.
The doll has sold 200 pieces since February through a distributor in the United Kingdom, from where it is dispatched to other parts of the world and sold for £25.
I didn't really think about it immediately that way as a business idea. I just started the page to show my creative side.
Hanifa says she is now working on a fashionable line by the same name and plans to start selling the doll within Nigeria, but the success of the brand has come as such a surprise to her. A trip to the fabric market always brings new ideas to her. As for her pharmacology degree, she says that has to stay on hold for now, in part as a result of there being few opportunities in the field, but mostly because she says she's found in hijabi her passion. What started out as a hobby shared on Instagram is now growing into a profitable business for Hanifa. Joy Doreen Bira, KTN News.
Beautiful concept there. Now remember, you can tell us how you think Kelele Takatifu fared. Tweet me, #FridayBriefing, and rate them. I'll give them a 5 out of 10 because he did not let his partner in crime read the story. But for now, though, coming back to a very interesting discussion that I told you we're going to have, I'm joined by Andrew Alovi, who's a representative from the Groove Awards panel. Thank you very much for coming on Friday Briefing.
Thank you for inviting us.
Right, so there's a lot of controversy about artists being kicked out of the awards because of quote-unquote ungodly lifestyles. Talk to us about that. First of all, is it true that Bahati and Willie Paul were kicked out of the awards? Yeah.
Okay, when you say people were kicked out, that means there was a list.
Yes.
There was nominations done and then guys.
Yes.
Nothing could be further from the truth.
Okay.
I think the most important thing would like to let guys know is let's try and understand the process, not just of Groove Awards, but any award ceremony, be they the Grammys, the Emmys, or the Oscars. Okay, so there's a nomination criteria that is followed, and the fact is, I mean, for Groove we have 4. You could miss the nomination because of one or more than one from the 4 parts that we use to nominate. So one, nobody was kicked out. What happens is we have an academy that is formed of, DJs, radio presenters, producers, who come and tell us, look, in 2015, these are the guys who, were kicking it, in the gospel music industry. So we as a panel are simply a dipstick, a barometer of the industry within the eligibility period. So nobody was kicked out. We just followed the data that we got, applied the criteria, and presented the nominees.
So you mean to say that Bahati and Willie Paul specifically, because those are the ones who, the story surrounds them, were not first of all nominated for the awards?
Well, Bahati and Willie Paul and thousands of other gospel artists in Kenya did not make it to the nomination list for the 2015 Groove Awards. So it's not just 2. There are hundreds of people who submitted their entries and they missed. So, and it was a criteria issue. So let's not make it look like in the entire industry we nominated everyone else apart from 2 individuals. That's far from the truth.
Okay. Thank you very much, Andrew Alovi, for clearing the air on that. It has been an issue, just Sadiq, right? Everybody anaongea your story.
At least tumepata clarity.
Okay, fine. So thank you so much, Andrew, for your time.
Thank you, Betty.
Right, so Sadiq, tupeleke break.
Okay. Okay.
Tupeleke break, sina music. Let's go for a break.
Okay. Right now, KTN Friday briefing takes a short break. We will be right back. Usiende mbali.
All right, with business is coming up shortly. Stay with us. Are adopting mixed, farmers in Nyeri are adopting mixed agriculture to help them generate all year round income. Macadamia nuts, are what they are diversifying into alongside maize. Now the farmers admit the demand for the crop is rising locally and abroad. KTN's Carol Derry now reports on the journey into this venture thus far.
Despite assurances given by the government, promises to revive the fledgling coffee sector, some farmers have opted to supplement their meager earnings from coffee by venturing into the cultivation of macadamia. Dairy and coffee farmers in Mokoroine are now toying with the macadamia farming as an alternative to coffee. This is after one of the farmers in the area, Mambo Thieri, began the cultivation of macadamia seeds. He has since learned the ropes of the trade, so much so that other farmers are flocking his home to acquire free grafted macadamia nut seedlings. A kilogram of raw macadamia nuts is currently fetching 100 shillings.
Compare kahawa na makodovia na macadamia iko mbali, iko bei mzuri na tena ni ya kulipo hapo hapo. Sio kama kahawa ya kwenda kugojea, unagojea saa nyingine hata hujui unauza rate gani. Unapeleka kahawa la kuvuna hapo, alafu unagojea pesa. Ile hujui ni ngapi. Kwa hivyo tukipata makadamia kwa wingi inakuwa imefaa zaidi kushinda kahawa.
Ukipanda kwa kahawa haiharibu kahawa. Kwa hivyo ukiweka miti yako 10 ama 20 bado unaendelea kulima kahawa yako na mikadamia pia. Kwa hivyo hii kile tunafanya ni kuongeza tu, tunaongeza pesa kwa mkulima wa Mkoroini ili aweze maisha yake iende kuendelea mbele na aweze kusomesha watoto.
Speaking during the launch of a macadamia farming program, Mambo Thieri, who is also the initiator, said that venturing into alternative cash crops is the only way to rescue farmers from poverty.
Ile kitu inaweza saidia watu wa Mkoroini ni macadamia.
Tutangawa kahawa nusu tupande macadamia. Na ikizidi sana tungoe yote tupande macadamia.
Carol Derry, KTN News, Nyeri County.
The hustle of millions of young entrepreneurs battling to access capital is a common phenomenon in Kenya. With a thriving SME sector, credit comes in handy for one to succeed in the Kenyan market. On this week's edition of Transformers, KTN's Abby Agina speaks to Darlene Menzies, the founder of the revolutionary software dubbed Sing Easy, on what SMEs can take to do and to grow and sustain their businesses.
With a fast-growing population now standing at over 43 million people, Kenya is among the few countries in the world with an attractive labor force. At least over 60% of the population is below the age of 35, handing Kenya a huge demographic dividend. The population surge has come with its fair share of challenges, such as a 40% unemployment rate, implying that out of 10 young people, 6 are unemployed. With jobs being hard to come by, the youth have resorted to pursuing other alternatives, such as setting up small businesses to make ends meet in the harsh economic environment where the cost of living has been on the upside.
Sometimes inakuwa ngumu, you don't even have money to survive, you know.
Data from Nairobi-based tech incubation hub iLab shows that out of 10 startups, only 2 make it to their 5th birthday. Among some of the reasons cited for the high failure rate of SMEs in the country is lack of access to cheap capital and poor financial management.
What SME is, it's an online, easy-to-use accounting system for entrepreneurs.
Darlene Menzies is a South African-based entrepreneur who started an ICT solutions firm.
It's what's called a cloud-based service, so it's accessible on any internet-connected device. So if you've got a mobile phone, a tablet, a laptop or a PC that has access to the internet, then you have access to SMEZ. The great thing about it being a cloud service is that if your laptop crashes or it gets stolen, you haven't lost your data because it's all backed up 24/7.
From her first-hand experience of having to shut down her business for running out of funds, she came up with an idea that could help SMEs manage their finances and unlock massive opportunities for additional capital.
So I have no doubt that entrepreneurs are growing by the day. The problem is many are starting, how many are surviving? And so we've got to find the starting is not so much the issue as once they've started, do they have a good business model? Is their business model sound? And do they have the support mechanisms in terms of the tools to turn that idea into a reality and employ staff?
Darlene believes the only way to help small businesses rise up the ladder is by according them the right tools to leapfrog them to becoming bigger companies. With Kenya experiencing the entrepreneurial bug, it is only prudent for young companies to grow and sustain themselves, but talent and capital is not enough. It takes more than that, as Darlene quips.
Risk is a massive thing. If you want to build a business, solve a problem. That's my biggest advice. Don't try and make something that you think is going to be good and try and push it into the market. Solve a problem and your product will get pulled into the market.
Abby Agina, KTN Business, for Transformers.
The long wait to the integration of South Sudan into COMESA is over after Africa's youngest state officially signed to join the Regional Economic Community on Thursday. Now, the signing of the document was witnessed by COMESA Secretary General Sindiso Ngwenya at Mombasa's Forodha House during the 9th meeting of the Management Committee of the Regional Customs Transit Guarantee Scheme. Leading the South Sudan delegation was Stephen Matatia, who is a Director General for External Trade in the Republic of South Sudan. Uganda and Ethiopia recently joined the COMESA to boost trade in the region.
Today is a great day for us in the Southern Sudan. Now we have peace, and now we are joining COMESA as a trading bloc. I think we will do a lot. We are in the middle of all COMESA member countries, Kenya, Uganda, and Ethiopia, and Sudan.
and DRC Congo. These are all members of COMESA. And I think our being in the middle, we will be able to facilitate this RCTG and the yellow card as well. We have signed the agreement for the accession to this RCTG and the yellow card scheme of COMESA.
It's that time that we learn some proper English pronunciations so that we do not embarrass ourselves when we're having conversations. Let me bring in our Willis Saching. Thank you so much for joining us. Willis coming to us live from Kisumu County. It's great to see you. How are you?
Betty, I'm fine, thanks. And how are you?
I'm great, Willis. Well, I want us to get it started with a word on the street. Let's listen to it.
Black. Black.
Black. Black you.
Black. Black.
Black. Black. Black. Black. Black. Black. Black.
Black you. Black you.
Black. Black.
Kwa nguvu. Black you.
Mara tatu.
Mara tatu. Break. Break me.
And Willis, the winner is that last lady. I can't even say what she just said. But there's Pleek, Pleq, Blaku. Talk to us about it.
Well, Betty, the correct pronunciation of that word is plaque. Plaque.
Okay.
You don't say plaque, you don't say plaque.
Yeah.
So U and E at the end or in the ending of that word, you know, the two letters are silent. You say plaque, plaque. But as I always say, Betty, some of these words are tricky. You see, like we talk of morgue, we don't say morgue you, we talk of plaque. Not plaque you, not plague.
All right, or pleek. Got it, Willis. Moving on to a word that we've had so many times, especially over the last week. Do we say requiem mass? Requiem mass. How do we go about that one?
We say requiem, requiem mass.
Requiem.
A requiem mass, not requiem, requiem, and all that. You say requiem, requiem mass.
Requiem. Got it, Willis. Now the next word, I'm going to spell it out for you. Machetes. Machetes. How do we say it? That's the correct pronunciation?
You are talking about machetes. Machetes, not machetes, not machetes. You know, we say machete, then the plural is machetes. Machetes, not che, not ke. Machetes.
Machetes.
Yes.
Okay, got it, Willis.
There you are.
I always thought it was something else. I don't want to embarrass myself, so I won't even say it. But moving on to another one.
It happens, Betty, with English or any foreign or target language, some of these errors, you know, we all make mistakes, sometimes without knowing that this word is machetes.
Okay, got it. All right, Willis. Let's move on to another word here, and I'll also spell this one out. It's so simple, yet a bit complicated, I think. CHEW. Do you chew something?
CHEW?
Yeah.
Or we say chew. To chew, not chew. We don't have the vowel glide. You say chew. You don't say I'm chewing something, you are chewing. To chew something. Drew, grew, brew. You don't say brew, flew. Those glides are commonly heard, but that is locally. When we talk about the English pronunciations, Betty, don't say chew. You say to chew sugarcane.
Okay, to chew, not chew.
To chew, there you are.
Okay, moving on to this other word, DERBY. Debbie. How do we say that one?
Betty, in English, you say derby. Derby.
Derby.
A derby between Manchester United and Manchester City. Derby. Don't say Derby. Derby is in Kiswahili. Just like I talked about powder. Powder Kiswahili. But in English, you say powder. Voucher Kiswahili. English, voucher. So, derby in English, derby in Kiswahili. Just like Jezi, you say Jezi in Kiswahili. But in English, you say Jazi. Jazi number 8.
All right.
Jazi, not Jezi.
You see that one for powder? That one, I know a couple of people who suffer from that problem, that small problem. They're saying powder instead of powder.
It happens.
Yes, yes.
You know, some of these mistakes, Betty, we normally make them because of what we hear regularly, and that is locally.
Yeah.
To the extent that we think that they are right. You see, like when I said chew, even you found yourself, wondering, is it chew or chew? Because we hear of chew, but you say chew. So, derby, Jazzy, powder, voucher.
Okay.
That is in English.
Okay, got it, Willis.
Yes.
Moving on to our feedback question from Ken Ogega. Data or data? When you're talking about DATA, data or data?
Betty, that one reminds me about one Rosie Nyax, called also sometimes More Fire. She says, Friday briefing is really on fire, but that is it. So Rosie Nyax, I think she has gotten that. But now the question is about the word data.
Yes.
We say data, but remember that this word is also pronounced as data. So two acceptable pronunciations. So Ken Ogega and Wycliffe, they should say data or data.
All right, got it, Willis. Any more surprises apart from those two?
Well, Betty, we can't miss a surprise word when we are on air. Now, many people talk of verses, verses or verses. Such and such a team versus such and such a team or the other team. This is not the correct or acceptable way to pronounce this word. This word is pronounced as versus, versus, not verses. By the way, verses is the plural of verse. A verse in the Bible or in a chapter of a Bible, and also verse for poetry, you say verses. But for this word, meaning against, we don't say verses. You say versus, versus. So AFC Leopards versus Gor Mahia. We should not say verses.
Whoa, okay, that's
Yes,
a surprise.
Betty.
That's a surprise, Willis. Versus.
I know.
Yes,
That
yes.
is why I brought it. And then, Betty, we also have words which people confuse. We have below. In the lower position or place, we say below. That is with one L, B-E-L-O-W. We say below. Then when we talk of an animal cry, we don't say now below, we say bellow. That is with double L. You say bellow. So bellow is the correct word there. That is the lower word is bellow. The upper one is below. But remember, when we talk of a cloud of smoke, or that is a mass of smoke, or when we talk of a moving cloud, we have below. So below, that is B-I-L-L-O-W, we say below. And Betty, a special request from people who really love this program, they've asked me that these words that they have just sent in, we should also focus on them. Deluge, issue or issue. We also say macabre, macabre, not macabre or macabre, macabre. Then we have adherence. Yes, adherence. Then we also have mentorship, mentorship, not mentorship. Then finally, covert, not covert. And remember, we also don't say covert. We say covert. To covet. That letter O takes the mid-central vowel sound. Covert, covet. Betty, how are you?
Okay, Willis. Those are serious surprises. They're covered. And
I
you know,
know.
we can
Covet.
always get.
You don't say covet.
Okay, got it, Willis. And remember, you can always catch Willis, the word master, right here. Willis, some of those words we have to talk about them next week. You have to really explain to us why. But for now, so thank you so much, Willis, for joining us here on Friday Briefing. Right, that has been...
It's now time for KTN Sports. My name is Moses Wahisi. Now, the Kenyan rugby women's team has been facing a number of challenges for years now. But of key importance, the ladies have always had a special drive that always give them the much needed motivation during the international outings. And that is simply representing the country in the different ties that they always face. As sponsorless Kenya Lionesses will be in flight to the 2016 Rio Olympics later this year, a time that the Sevens rugby team will share a platform of history with the men's Shujaa who qualified for Rio, an occasion where the shorter version of the game will take its Olympic debut. It has however not been made for the ladies who claimed the Hong Kong Women's Sevens Bowl title with a 29-0 win against Sri Lanka in their last international assignments.
We're going to build a team, and we're going out there to put our best foot forward, test some of our new girls, test some of the skills that we've been putting them, and we're going to put all we can into the game.
Really good, but again it's challenging because we come from training and go for a tournament. Unlike other teams, they go for a lot of tournaments. Us, we don't have that luxury.
The Lionesses are determined to start during the Rio Olympics, but another test will be in the offing during the Paris Sevens, and as always the side will try to win against the world women rugby heavyweights. For a number of years now, the Kenyan Queens of Rugby have failed to sparkle during a number of the international outings. But of key importance is that these ladies are always willing and able to represent the country irrespective of the many challenges they have. For now, it is all but working harder for the ladies who, regardless of the results they secure, with an open heart, they always represent Kenya.
We are complementing each other, senior players bringing in a lot of experience, young players bringing in a lot of youthfulness and a lot of speed, and we hope to blend it together and put the Kenyan rugby style of play out there and win games.
Challenges aside, the mood at the Kenya Lionesses training remains intense and the focus among the players is evident. Now back to matters of the track. Wilfred Kimite is the winner of the 10,000 meters in the Kenyan Prison Services Championships that got underway at the Nyayo National Stadium today. In another final of the day, Machako's best Nancy Nziza cruised to victory in the 5,000 meters finals as Stephen Baraza qualified for the 100 meters finals. Robinson Okenye now reports.
The Kenya National Prison Service Athletics Championships took off at Nyayo Stadium, and despite some of the top stars missing from today's competition due to Diamond League commitments, new stars were ready to impress. In the 10,000 men's final, First Lady Half Marathon winner Wilfred Kimite reigned supreme to win the race in a time of 29 minutes 26.2 seconds. Kimite, who also won Standard Chartered Marathon, beat a strong field of competitors including former world marathon champion Luke Kibet, as Peter Imase finished second while Frederick Moranga was third.
Walikuwa walikimbia kwa juu sana vile tulianza mpaka vile tulimaliza.
In the 5,000 women's final, Nancy Nziza was untouchable, beating a field of more than 20 participants to clock 16 minutes 2.5 seconds. Nziza, who finished second in the National Cross Country Championships, is hoping to make it to the team that will represent Kenya at the Olympics. Catherine Siokao was second, while Valentine Kibi came in third.
Silikuwa mzuri, ni venye tu sikuwa najua hatuko sinjaenda any meetings, but nimeona nikimbia mzuri.
In the 100-meter semi-final, Stephen Baraza clocked 10.4 seconds to book a slot in the finals, while Maureen Chelagat made it to the finals of 400 meters. As the national trials first approach, it's every man for himself in the Prisons Athletics Championships as every competitor tries to make the time for the national trials. Robinson Okenye, KTN Sports.
It matters the Europa League, Liverpool against Sevilla in the finals, and maybe that's the only chance for Liverpool to qualify for the Champions League come next season. Let's wait and see how that tie is going to pan out. And that's KTN Sports. My name is Moses Wahisi. Have a lovely night.
Okay. Welcome back to Friday Brief at Najaribu. But you've seen I've just done what you do.
You're good.
I'm good, look. I'm fed up. Give me some music. That's me. That's me. So thank you so much for watching Friday Briefing. It's been so great having you guys. DJ Sadiko kusema kama tutaka kukuvotia kama tunataka.
Kama mnataka.
Kama tunataka.
Wacha nikuwe humble, tafadhali nipigieni kura. My code is 15E. You SMS Groove 15E to 811, and to vote for Tukuza Us TV Show of the Year, you SMS Groove 17F to 811.
Okay, sawa. Thank you so much, guys. Kelele Takatifu, DJ Sadiq, Blaine Wanjiru. Thank you so much, and thank you for watching Friday Briefing. It's been a pleasure having you. Have a nice weekend. God bless you. And okay, kila mtu aseme goodbye. Haraka.
Roja watakuwa tuomo.
We start ladies first. Vote. Okay.
Bye, bang, bang.
Okay. What's this with this bang, bang? Okay. What are you gonna say?
Yeah, man.
Okay, so.
Goodbye.
Okay. DJ Sadiq.
Team Sadiq, thank you for watching. God bless you.
All right.
Yeah.
Indeed. Okay, so thank you so much. See you again next week, God willing. And have a lovely weekend. And be safe. Don't drink and drive. Or just don't drink.
Kunywa maji.
Okay. Drink water. Okay, fine. Thank you. Goodbye. The way